Alright guys, welcome. This is a birthday present for Sarah. They asked that I do a long recording of me talking about Warcraft and the like, so we are going to be doing that today. Um, I'm also going to be playing Marvel Snap while doing this because it'd be kind of boring for me to do otherwise, just nothing otherwise. Um, Reason why I'm not building anything or playing another like a board game or anything is because I don't have my camera set up in the back room. It's freezing back there right now and all that stuff. I apologize for that. So what we're doing is playing Marvel Snap. I'll be playing a variety of decks today because we're going to be at this for a little while. I'm not really going for ranking. I'm just having fun. A lot of these decks are not good in the least. My Odin deck is pretty good, but most of my other decks are literally just for fun. I got a few dailies to complete right now. I'll go ahead and explain the game real quick before we get into the talking about Warcraft. So the game is played over 6 turns. Bop, bop, bop. Each round you are offered 1 energy more than the previous round. You start off with 0 energy. So he already snapped. Normally, each game is worth 1 cube. The final round makes it 2. You can bet more by snapping. That is your rank, essentially. And yeah, so he's betting rank. He's pretty confident in what he's going to be doing. I mean, I'd be pretty confident too, considering my deck is pure S. This is just a fun deck that I made based off of one that Ben Brode made. Ben Brode was the original creator of Hearthstone, but he went and made this game with his new studios, Second Dinner Studios. But yeah, so I do not want to play that yet. So we're gonna lose Space Throne no matter what because of the way that my deck operates. So I'm gonna go ahead and just play Hazmat right there. So the goal is to win at least 3 of the locations by the end of the game. So we are going to go ahead and attempt to do that. We're going to put Goose right there, Korg right there. And that's pretty much how the game is played. I'm not going to get too much into it because that's not what this video is about. What is this video about? This video is about Warcraft and what it means to me. I am only going to be sticking with actual Warcraft. I'm not going to be talking about like the business end and all the crap they went through recently, yada yada, because that's a story I've been telling for way too long already, and honestly, nobody wants to hear that. That would be watching this video. You don't want to hear me rant and rave, all that crap. So what we're going to be doing is instead we're going to be focusing on what Warcraft means. So I started playing Warcraft. I did play the original Warcraft, however, did not play the original Warcraft whenever it came out. I played the original Warcraft whenever I played Warcraft 2. I played Warcraft 2 first. I can't play any of these cards because of Goose. Huh. Yeah, I'm definitely losing here. So yeah, I played Warcraft 2 first. My friend Matthew got me into it. He was like, hey, look, this is a game that we can play together on the internet. Back then it was 56K modem, and you did not require an actual internet service provider to play with each other. You just had to have the ability to connect to the internet. And basically your computer would call the other person's computer. It was great. However, I just lost to a 2-power Daredevil. That's amazing. So Goose made it so I couldn't play 90% of my cards. Whatever. So to continue on, yeah, we played a lot of Warcraft 2 together, and that got me interested in wanting to play the original one. I did not play it for the story back then. It was definitely just, this is a really fun game. I didn't start playing for RTSs for a story until we got into StarCraft, and StarCraft was just amazing. The gameplay was amazing, the storyline was amazing. I still think that StarCraft 1 had a much better gameplay than Warcraft 3 and Warcraft 2, of course. sometimes I feel like StarCraft 1 has better gameplay than StarCraft 2 on some days. But that's my own personal opinion on that one. I had a lot of fun with StarCraft 1. I understand a lot of it's probably nostalgia glasses and all that stuff, but hey, that's half the fun of it. Wow, Green Goblin is loud. So, getting back into it, Warcraft 2 was just an amazing game. But let's move on to Warcraft 3 because that's the big one. That's the one that I have the video playing for. Warcraft 3, outside of the Final Fantasy series, was the first game where I not only got invested in the story, I became obsessed with the story. It was just mind-bogglingly amazing to me on how good this story was. And, like, I can't put into words how much this ended up meaning to me as a kid, just playing this game over and over, the story of Arthas Menethil. And I mean, edgy teen, oh my god, look how cool he looks, all that crap too. Like he looked awesome. He was awesome. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Arthas was just the coolest being ever, and getting to actually play as him whenever he was both the hero and a villain throughout the entire thing. And then I'm actually gonna snap right here because I think I got it. It was just amazing. I never played a game like that before, where you actually got to dynamically see the hero become the villain and still stick playing him at the same time. I've seen plenty of games where you see a hero become a villain. I mean, that's a huge trope in storytelling in general. But the idea that you actually got to stick with him his entire time was just beautiful. And the fact that the game left off on a cliffhanger on what was going to happen, but yet I also felt satisfied with where it left off. He reached his peak. He reached his pinnacle. Honestly, it was beautiful. The entire storyline, and there's so much going on in the Warcraft 3 storyline, and yet my mind always reverts only to the Arthas parts of it. They killed Jaden, Archimonde, all the Night Elves, and all that stuff. People talk about that stuff a lot, but that held very little interest to me. As a kid, that held very little interest to me. Just throughout, I didn't care about the elves. I didn't care about Mount Hyjal. It wasn't just that interesting to me at all. It was a story of what Arthas was doing and his journey and all that stuff that I was always captivated by. And yeah, so continuing on with that, I moved on and played, Diablo 2 and all that. And then eventually when I was in high school, it got announced that World of Warcraft was coming out. And I was like, oh, I'm going to have to pay to play Warcraft now. So they want me to buy it, and then they want me to pay to play it. Well, that's fucking stupid. I'm not going to do that. At about the same time, Final Fantasy XI came out, and I, for some odd reason, was okay with that. So I started playing Final Fantasy XI before I started playing World of Warcraft, and I loved Final Fantasy XI. It was very grindy. I enjoy that type of stuff. Just mind-numbing. God, Green Goblin is so loud. Just go around just doing random crap like that. Just killing things for hours on end. I really enjoy it. However, the issue came up eventually that everybody was switching over to everybody started playing World of Warcraft and not Final Fantasy XI. Final Fantasy XI was much more popular in Japan and whatnot. You can actually easily tell because, well, whenever you played it, you had more Japanese people playing it and using the auto feature and whatnot, to the auto translate feature to talk to you than the Americans. Whatever. I enjoyed myself. Actually, I'm going to play Scorpion because he's better. I should have played Scorpion first. I'm an idiot. I'm distracted by talking. So yeah, I played Final Fantasy XI. Then my brother started playing World of Warcraft, and I tried World of Warcraft right whenever it came out, and I didn't find it as interesting as Final Fantasy XI because to me it felt like you were doing tasks for other people constantly, and you weren't on your own adventure. In Final Fantasy XI, whenever you were doing anything, like a quest or anything, it was always for a purpose of some sort. Like, the quest on average did not give experience points. Quests only gave you what the quest reward was. So if you wanted to fly on airships, you had to do a quest to get your airship pass. If you wanted to unlock new jobs, you had to do the quest to unlock the new jobs. And it wasn't like quick little things like in Final Fantasy XIV. No, like these things would take hours and hours. Like I remember getting Corsair unlocked, and it took me like half a day to do that with a guide, somebody helping me that was way over leveled. And yet it still took forever for me to complete it. Every single quest that you did felt rewarding. So whenever I tried out World of Warcraft and it was like, hey, go do this quest where you kill 3 boars, get back to me. While you're out there, make sure that you also killed 6 kobold. While you're killing the 6 kobold, make sure that you also take 3 of their candles. While you're doing that, also, one of them took a gold ring from me, so go ahead and get that gold ring back. The quest didn't feel nearly as rewarding, and I felt more like an errand boy than an actual hero of some sort. And even long before I started the whole roleplay thing and making characters and whatnot, I always like to get into the idea of my character and into the mindset of my character. It's just always something fun for me to do. And the fact that they kind of just like it all felt silly to me in Warcraft. I'm playing my Galactus deck now because I feel like I can snap a lot more with Galactus, and I have to win 10 games with snap. I can determine if I'm going to win or lose pretty early on with Galactus. So, back to what I was saying. Yeah, so I felt like this was just I felt like I wasn't accomplishing much while accomplishing stuff on the on that front. This is not a good Galactus game, by the way. These are all horrible. Because I can't even play my Green Goblin right now whenever I want to. I have to completely skip my turn. Yeah, back to what I was saying. But then years came by, and, well, not even years. I would say probably like a half a year or so. Most of my friends, my American friends that were playing Final Fantasy XI stopped playing. They started playing World of Warcraft more. And that meant I couldn't do much. Because if they were all playing World of Warcraft and I was stuck with a bunch of Japanese people that I did not understand, well, I was going to have to go play with them. And so I went ahead and did that. I switched over to World of Warcraft towards the end of... this is a risk because he's probably gonna... I'm gonna hate myself. Oh, look, I got it. Haha. Just put that right there and hope for the best. Where was I? Okay, yeah, so I switched over to World of Warcraft and started playing it. And again, at first I did not enjoy it. I was not having fun with the whole just being like a quest monkey. And honestly, I didn't enjoy that for quite some time. It wasn't until I got into about the like Plague Lands area that is Luke Cage reverted also? Huh. I didn't know he operated like that. That's interesting to know. I didn't know Luke Cage also reverted any negatives that you placed on them. I thought it was just from there on. Duly noted. Okay. So back to what I was saying. But then whenever you get to the Plague Lands area, then you start getting fed all this lore that I was familiar with. Because you're hitting up Lordaeron, you're just in very familiar places, and you're dealing with threats that you understand. And then Naxxramas was announced, and Kel'Thuzad was there. I never got to personally step into I think I stepped into Naxxramas. I mean, God, it was so long ago. It's hard to pinpoint what memories happened at the end of Vanilla and what happened at the beginning of BC. But I did remember stepping into Naxxramas. I just don't exactly remember when I did it. But it was still a marvelous time whenever I did. Whenever I stepped into it, like my nerd brain was blown. It was so exciting to actually be a part of this, to actually see it all. And then I didn't get to see Kel'Thuzad for quite some time. I did get to see Saffron pretty early on, me going in there, and I forgot to end my turn. And seeing Saffron was really cool. And eventually, like I looked up all the voice lines for Kel'Thuzad, and it was just ridiculous to experience. At least in my head, it was. I freaking loved it. I can go on for just, and then I started playing really hard in BC. Started playing Paladin, then Draenei Paladin. And yeah, he was pretty awesome. I mean, he sucked because he was a Paladin. Oh man, freaking Psylocke is the exact card that I need right now. So Psylocke gives you +1 energy next turn, so it's gonna be turn 5, but I'm gonna have 6 energy, so I'm gonna be able to play Galactus. So I'm gonna go ahead and snap now, because it's gonna let me play an early Galactus. And now we're gonna end turn. We'll see if he goes in for it. But either way, BC was an okay time. I did a good bit of raiding. A lot of the raiding I got into, sadly, was because of my younger brother. I was able to raid because of him. He was playing a shaman at the time, and shamans were outright broken. Elemental shamans just did ridiculous amounts of DPS, and all they had to do was hit lightning bolt, and that's all my brother did. Oh, he totally countered my Galactus by playing Cosmo first. That hurts. So what I'll do is... Yeah, I'm gonna have to retreat because I'm gonna lose too much if I stick there. That Cosmo, it cancels on reveal effects, and Galactus is an on reveal effect. So yeah, he completely countered me. Good job, asshole. Back to what I was saying. Yeah, a lot of it was due to my brother, because nobody wanted a Ret Paladin back then, and I wanted to play Ret. I wish I had Galactus in my hand, because that'd be great. Instead, I got kind of screwed really bad by the peak. Either way, the real fun, of course, didn't start until Wrath of the Lich King. Wrath of the Lich King was when it all came to head. I made this comparison to the people in my FC earlier this year about fighting Heidelin for the first time, and how it reminded me of fighting the Lich King for the first time. The entire experience of Wrath of the Lich King was glorious. From the very start, whenever you enter Borean Tundra and you're fighting just waves of undead. You're fighting just... Wow, this is horrible. Because I did not want to give him a copy of that. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to hope that he... Oh, look. Got my Galactus. I just don't want to Green Goblin Machine World. So I'm gonna... So Machine World would put it in his hand, and I don't want him to Green Goblin my Galactus area, because that could be very bad for me. I think so since I'm ahead, I can Green Goblin now. And I'll be able to Galactus first, so even if he does Green Goblin me, it'll be okay. So yeah, just the storyline from right from the start of Wrath of the Lich King, they didn't beat around the bush. It was instantly Arthas time, and that's all that I wanted. You instantly go in, you're being taunted by the Lich King from the start. A lot of people complain that the Lich King felt like a Scooby-Doo villain at the beginning of the expansion, where he just kind of appeared everywhere and was taunting you and blah blah blah. He'd walk away and he'd be like, "Ah ha ha, I'll get you next time, Gadget, next time," all that bullshit. I personally enjoyed that, because it felt like yeah, I'll snap back. We'll see what happens, because I should have this, because Galactus is going to destroy everything. He's already at -3 right there. Wolverine's going to come over here, so I'll have 5 over here. He can't have too much. Yeah, he's putting everything over there. So I 100% win this, and I get 8 cubes. Let's see. Okay, yeah, everything gets destroyed. And yeah, GG. And he snapped with too much confidence. But no, so yeah, you go around to the different zones, and half the time you're seeing Arthas. I think the only time that I did not enjoy myself in Wrath of the Lich King was Sholazar Basin, which I know is a lot of people's like one of their favorite areas in the game. But it did not have enough undead for me. It had like the one little cliff of undead. I'm not a fan of jungle areas. I'm not a fan of Nessingwary stuff. There's just a lot of stuff that I wasn't a fan of that was all over that area. And yeah. So that's about my take on that one. But as the patches progressed, we got Ulduar, which opened a new venue for me, because like I thought the old gods, like the aspect of the old gods was cool back whenever in Warcraft 3, whenever Arthas first runs into one. Like that was such a cool concept that, oh, these beings that are like older than time itself, that are even like that make the freaking Scourge like shit their pants. Like that's really cool in my opinion, that these things could possibly exist. However, sorry, the only one that we saw before that was Cthulhu, and he wasn't like what his influence wasn't felt, in my opinion at least. He was there, he had this big event for him, but like his influence, the storytelling was very very closed off in vanilla, very zone by zone, so you didn't really feel his influence outside of the zones that nobody did anything in. However, Yogg-Saron, you felt his influence throughout the expansion alongside Arthas. You felt him in Howling Fjord, you felt him in Grizzly Hills, you felt him in Storm Peaks definitely. And so whenever you finally got to Ulduar and you did this massive raid, it was so cool. I didn't like the vehicle stuff. I'm not a huge fan of. However, it was still an epic opening to it. All right, so if my Green Goblin lands here, we're snapping because we 100% win. He has no counter, so he has to drop. He has to do something magical. Okay, so we win. So we're gonna go ahead and snap because he can't win right here. It's impossible for him to win. We'll go ahead and just Hobgoblin right here just to piss him off a little bit more. But yeah, like approaching the gates, like what was the dragon's name? Because Ignis was a lot of fun. Like he had just really cool. Ooh, yeah. See, you can't do anything. Because he wanted to be able to cloak my Green Goblin away, but he can't do that. So yeah, he retreated. Either way, yeah, the dragon wasn't Razor Skill, was it? Either way, I thought that was a really fun fight. It's been way too long since I've done a lot of this stuff, and sadly, a lot of my just memory of like Warcraft in general is starting to go to the wayside, and instead being filled up by Final Fantasy stuff instead, and that's a little depressing to think about. That my thoughts on everything are slowly going away, but I honestly I care less and less about it as each day goes by. So with Ulduar, just progressing through it, it opened new ideas on what to appreciate in the storyline, and it didn't feel like a retcon to the storyline either. It felt like a genuine addition to the storyline, and that's a big difference than what's been happening recently with the storyline. New storyline doesn't feel like additions to storyline. It feels like subtractions in it to make the addition to the storyline. Whereas Ulduar was just pure addition. The other ones you have to have, there was always some sort of like, oh yeah, but this is what you have to lose in the process. But I'll get into that in a little bit also. To continue on, I don't want to stick in Ulduar for too long, but you had the whole idea of Algalon, the idea that the world could literally end at any point based off of just our decisions. God, I'm really just getting unlucky with these draws because I'm not going to be able to play my Hobgoblin on 5 due to Dream Dimension. So this is going to be a pretty bad game. I gotta have a Green Goblin right here is gonna be like the only thing that saves me, and it's another rock. So we'll go ahead and we'll play Galactus, but we're not snapping because we have no clue if 3 power is enough to win. I highly doubt it. Yeah, America Chavez, yeah. So, but the idea that the world could end at any point based off of somebody's whims out there was a really awe-inspiring idea. Then it was such a difficult fight. Yogg-Saron himself was a extremely difficult fight. I mean, he was pretty much unbeatable. Technically, people had to cheat to beat him at first. So that's always quite the deal. Then we move on. We get to the tournament. The idea of the tournament was good. I mean, I enjoyed the tournament. I enjoyed the raid a lot. The Nubarok fight was amazing. I still say it's one of the best fights ever created. But I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to move on to Icecrown Citadel. And the idea behind that and how almost perfect of an experience it was. There's only one bit of the experience of Icecrown Citadel that I hold gripe to this day. And that is the idea of the gunship battle. That is literally the dumbest decision in that entire expansion. I don't know who thought to do that. Like, I understand, like, oh yeah, we have to have the Horde versus the Alliance. We have to have them fighting, yada, yada, yada. But why would either one attack each other while they're both climbing up to fight Arthas? Knowing also that any death that happens is basically paving the way as well. I just screwed myself with Scarlet Witch because now my hand shuffles into my deck. I had the perfect hand, and then Scarlet Witch changes the location, so now my hand's going to shuffle in and I get 3 different cards. I just fucked myself. I still got a pretty good hand though, because now I can Green Goblin over here. Yeah, the gunship battle was fucking stupid, and people who say it had any sort of merit, they're fucking stupid too. If you think that the gunship battle meant anything, you're a fucking idiot. Because you could be like, oh, well, of course the Horde would attack, but you know, from the Horde side, of course the Alliance would attack. Like, it's fucking stupid. Yeah, I'm fucking getting angry thinking about this. Gamora right there and hope for the best. I don't like to snap with my Galactus deck unless I have Galactus himself. The victory there was like 90% assured, but I only like to snap when I'm 100% sure because I'm a coward. That and I'm also like only half paying attention to the game because I'm trying to talk about all this. And I realize I'm veering off a lot. I've been going for about 30 minutes now. But, okay, continue on. Past the, we'll go before the, oh, you're snapping right at the start, huh? Must be a move deck. With the Bifrost being the first one. So yeah, we'll start with the beginning. Mario Gara was actually a really cool fight. And he felt like a great addition to the Scourge Empire. He was a truly horrifying beast to like behold and all that stuff. He was really creepy looking. He was a bunch of like amalgamation of bones and souls, and he looked like something that would be the actual guardian to... Yeah. That sucks. Means I cannot Galactus this turn. Because, well, actually I could. If I draw Galactus, I can. Because I can play him in 5. And Lady Death Whisper following him. Cool concept, you know, just a... Reminds me of a lot of the Spider Lady from whatchamacallit, from Naxxramas. Just very preachy. Oh shit, I just fucked myself. What else did you play? You're a fucking idiot. That doesn't even work. Fuck. It's a good thing I don't actually make any money off of YouTube. I'd be getting demonetized like hell for all the cursing I'll be doing at these people. But continuing on. So yeah, then we move on to the next, which is the gunship battle, which is stupid. You move off to the different areas of Icecrown Citadel, and to actually see the Scourge like machination, so to say, at work was pretty cool. The idea that, you know, it's actually like this big group effort, so to say, is pretty neat looking, where you have the different wings operating off of each other. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was all pretty neat. The Bloodwing was my favorite because I love council fights. So the Blood Council was really cool. The idea that we fought them all before was really neat. And then Blood Queen Lanithil, she was also just a neat addition to the lore. And, you know, again, what she represented, like she was basically the vampire queen. And that was just really cool. I enjoyed her a lot. Let's see, we're going to do that. Let's see if Scarlet Witch screws me again. She does not. Okay. Professor Putricide, the idea that you actually had somebody creating all these plague monstrosities and whatnot. If Gamora lands, then we don't have to Galactus, because it's a lot of power. Nexus feeds all the power to all the different locations. Gamora. Okay, so Gamora lands, so yeah, we'll go ahead and because we know we're getting America Chavez right here. And so we know that's another 9 power. I mean, he has to get 20-something power to catch up to me. He's not going to do that. If he does, then he's earned it. But as I was saying, Professor Putricide was a really cool idea. My only gripe in the Three Wings is Syndragosa. I mean, her voice was annoying, her fight was kind of annoying, but I just wholeheartedly believe that Syndragosa should have been Saffron from the beginning. Just because in Warcraft 3 you spent a lot of time with Saffron, you personally saw his downfall, how Arthas, you know, killed him and turned him into something else and made him a slave and all that stuff, and the fact that he was just a boss of Naxxramas, the penultimate boss of Naxxramas, a little underwhelming. Especially since Naxxramas was a vanilla raid and then brought back in Wrath as one of the first tier raids. I think they should have reused, like, as much as they reuse crap nowadays. Back then they weren't reusing stuff all the time. I think they should have reused Kel'Thuzad and Saffron for Icecrown Citadel in some way. I don't think Syndragosa should have been the ultimate badass dragon that Arthas used. But that's besides the point. Eventually, though, Wrath of the Lich King had to come to an end, and it was followed up by something that I actually ended up both loving and hating at the same time. So Deathwing I knew from Warcraft 2, and by the time that Cataclysm came out, I had gotten a lot more invested in the story of Warcraft and all that stuff, so I started reading the books and all that, so I understood Deathwing a lot better, and he was much cooler than... It was a much bigger deal, much cooler, in my opinion. I love Deathwing. Those who know me know I absolutely love Deathwing and yada yada, and I hate what they did for him in Dragonflight, and I hate what they blah blah blah. But again, we'll get to that in a little bit. Because, I mean, it's just going to be me talking about things that I hate constantly, and we don't want to listen to that forever. Let's play this one more. Okay, so... Let's go ahead and Hobgoblin there. Okay, so the entry to Cataclysm was actually pretty excellent. With the multi-tier raids, the very difficult raids, the idea of heroic-only bosses. All of this was very well done. Cataclysm had probably one of the best, if not the best, opening to an expansion of all of them. The big issue then lies in. Let's see. I think I'm gonna. Do that. Seems about right. He's probably gonna onslaught. Right. Yeah, squirrel girl. You onslaught it over there. But that gives him the power. Okay. Hey, he got it. Congratulations there, buddy. Continuing on. Okay, sorry. That round just confused me and I had to kind of stop a little bit. Oh boy, that sucks. Don't play my Psylocke early. Oh well, I played the Shang-Chi early. So, I guess that's okay. The next patch is where I have my gripes. Firelands. So, the raid was fun. The dailies were too much. They took way too long. They were way too involved. It took so much of your time per day. And then the raid was fine, I would say. I wouldn't even say fun. I would say it was fine. It had good fights in it. It had good times in it, but in it itself wasn't very good. What I mean by that is just like it wasn't much to it. Like, of the fights, Elite Resort could be fun because of just pumping the big-ass numbers. Major Domo Staghelm was fun. Again, because you could pump these big-ass numbers with him. But other than that, like, most of it was just bad. Like the stupid Lord Ryolith or whatever his name was, where we had to turn him around. That fight was horrible. The spider fight was boring as shit. The first fight was just way too easy, even on a.
Wind, take my hand.
Okay, we just have to hope he doesn't. Okay. Sorry for stopping talking. I got too involved in this one because he was acting weird. Yeah, see, he got too confident. Didn't expect the Galactus. Fuck you. Alright, back to what I was saying. It just, Firelands just wasn't fun. Like, Ragnaros was a great fight. And that was like the only one that was an actual good fight. So, it only had one good fight in it. The others were fun because it was just stupid fun to get your numbers way up. But like the lore wasn't that good behind it. It was just kind of like, it's whenever you started feeling the fatigue of, oh, they're going to start bringing things back a lot in this game now. A little bit too much, perhaps. And then after that, we had the Dragon Soul raid. And Dragon Soul raid, they didn't even bother making a proper trailer for. And that's whenever I knew it was going to be bad. the lore behind the Dragon Soul raid, I guess, was okay. Like the idea of the Worm Rest Temple being attacked and all that stuff was pretty cool. The dungeons surrounding it were actually pretty fun, especially like going back in time and getting stuff. And this is before time travel became a horrible idea. But yeah, it's just it was just, it had good fights in it. I'll give it that. The Zonoz would have been fun if it wasn't so buggy. I like the idea of bouncing the ball back and forth, and I like fights where you get to choose your own difficulty based on how you do the fight. And that fight was supposed to be built that way. However, the issue with it is that it also had the problem where you let's try my Wolverine and my Sonic real quick. Sorry. Yeah, it had the issue where the ball would sometimes go through your people for no reason whatsoever. It would hit the wall. Sometimes it would hit something that wasn't even there. Stuff like that. It was just, it wasn't well made, that fight. The other boss, I forgot. Oh, motherfucker. We're just gonna retreat now. I feel like dealing with this. Yeah. Anyway, continuing on. Yeah, just then the Hagara fight was pretty fun. I enjoyed a lot of the stuff that she had to deal with. I really liked the idea of like having to like perfectly set people up to get the totems done. I mean, the reason for the fight was stupid. War Master Blackhorn was an amazing fight. I love that fight so much. My issues then become with all the Deathwing related stuff. I love Deathwing. I think he's one of the coolest characters in Warcraft story. Like it's an actual giant dragon that acts like a giant evil dragon. It's a dragon. And that's what I want to fight when I'm doing like medieval stuff. I prefer the sci-fi. That's like I like StarCraft more than Warcraft. I prefer the sci-fi over medieval. But like whenever I'm doing the medieval stuff, I want to do the medieval stuff. I want to actually like take part in all of it all, and to not be able to like actually have fun with a dragon is fucking stupid, in my opinion. God, these so many green goblins are so loud. But yeah, the fights were just they were boring. Like the one with what's her face was okay, I guess. I don't know what's her face. With like whenever you're doing the spine and you killing things, that fight's okay. But the next fight was just so long, so tedious, and so buggy that it made me despise the raid. Whenever I was finally done with it, I was like, God, raiding is so boring. However, okay, so yeah, we're gonna snap. We're not gonna Galactus because we don't really have to, because we already have this lane. We already have this lane, and now we get to Gamora this lane. So like, it's pretty hard for me to lose. Like even with a Goblin against me, I'm still pretty confident. Because again, I can't lose those two lanes. Yeah, I don't know why why he didn't retreat. There was no possible way to win. Yeah, those fights were just were horrible. And then we get into Mista Pandaria. I love pandas. I love the idea of the Pandaren. Like I said, by the time that Wrath of the Lich King ended, I was really getting into the story of World of Warcraft, or just Warcraft in general. So by the time that Pandaria came around, I was really into the story. And, you know, I knew all about, like, Chin Stormstout and all that he did for, like, Ogremar and all that blah, 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 blah. And so to actually see him in action was going to be exciting. It was going to be super cool to see all this stuff happening. And anytime that expansion came out for World of Warcraft, I'd go back and replay Warcraft 3 to see if I could pick up on anything that was coming out and whatnot. And, you know, like the Pandaren and all that stuff in Warcraft 3. Yeah, just it made me excited to play it. Made me excited to play Pandaren even. That's why I went into the expansion playing the Pandaren monk. I did the whole thing where I bought a different account and did the like refer a friend stuff so I could like build it up and all that, and that way I could instantly like power level the Pandaren monk. And yeah, also they were really freaking strong at the start. Not just Pandaren, but just monks in general. So that was a lot of fun to play. Go ahead and get rid of this Strange Academy because that can screw me over. This is why we run Scarlet Witch, so she can get rid of areas that are bad for me. We're just hoping to draw Galactus next turn. We didn't, so we are going to. We're gonna hope he is trying to do something there. But yeah, I thought the Pandaren were cool. Then we got into the expansion, and a lot of the storylines were cool. Again, it was all story that actually felt like an addition to the story. And that's a big deal to me. The fact that it actually feels like additions to the story. I'm probably going to lose here because he's probably going to drop like a white tiger and it's going to hop all over the place, and I don't have any way of fighting that. Let's just find out if I'm right. I'm curious if it is going to be a white tiger. Let's find out. We're betting on a white tiger. I was wrong. Oh. Ongoing effects are doubled. I didn't even pay attention to that. Wong was stupid strong there. That's why you don't play and talk about Warcraft at the same time, because you'll miss crap like that. Either way, let me continue on, because I've been on this a little bit for too long. Yeah, you really enjoyed the Pandaren. And again, the storyline, the opening raids were really well done. They offered a lot of great story. The whole idea of like more Titan machines doing crap that they probably shouldn't be doing. It was really cool. Yeah, that's just a really like fun idea. I really like all the Titan stuff. I like the waters that like made the land flourish. I really enjoyed all the mantis stuff. Was like really cool. It's just the issue with it is that my Raider's heart wasn't in it anymore.
When pay my hand.
Guess not going to be able to Galactus there. So I'll have to just do that instead. So we're going to have to Galactus on Washington instead. That's okay. be able to Galactus at all because he's probably going to drop a Green Goblin on Washington now. Okay, back to what I was saying. The opening storyline was great, but my Raiders' heart wasn't in it. Our raid team ended up falling apart. We got through the first raid pretty easily, the Mogashan Vault. It's whenever we got to the Mantid raid that I lose. Oh, played Spider Man. I thought he was gonna play Green Goblin. Oh well. Yeah, so we got to that, and then just people just I personally felt as if they weren't trying hard enough. We couldn't get past the first boss on the difficulty, on the lowest difficulty, or heroic. We were doing heroic. No, we weren't even doing heroic yet. We were on normal difficulty, and we couldn't get past it. We were heroic raiders. We took down heroic Deathwing before the end of Dragon Soul, before the end of the expansion. We were heroic raiders, and for some odd reason now we couldn't even complete the normal raid. The same group of raiders. Sadly, we lost one of our raiders throughout the whole thing. Don't want to get into that. But yeah. So we decided to go our separate ways. A lot of them just stopped playing. My friend Roke and I, we decided to continue raiding, and but I didn't want to lead anymore. I was like, I'm done leading for now. I want to find a group and get with them instead. So we decided to we got with a different group. We ended up getting the stuff down. The next raid came out. We did that one also. Throne of Thunder. Amazing storyline. Amazing raid. When I say amazing raid, amazing storyline, amazing bosses. The raid itself. Wow. Yeah, that Daredevil fucked me. This is the only chance that I have. And hey, it was enough. Why I say it wasn't a very good raid is because it had very horrible pacing issues. The first boss was incredibly easy on both difficulties, and I mean like beyond a pushover joke. He looked really cool. He had cool looking abilities. He had cool looking items that you got from him. He had a cool name, Jidrock the Breaker. He was a throwback to vanilla. There was so much that worked for him, except for just him himself. He was a piece of shit. Then the next fight was Hordon. The fact that they put a wall of a boss as the second boss is fucking insane. Hordon was so fucking hard that he himself destroyed guilds. Who the fuck plays Quake? I don't care. I got my Galactus. So yeah, Hordon was just a horrible boss fight. Then you got another easy boss fight with the council.
Wind ate my hand.
And then you're pretty much like fucked after that. Yeah, do I want to? Yeah, I believe that's right. We'll Galactus on Storm, because unless they play something big there, we automatically win. Looks like we're gonna be tying. So. Oh wait, no, I win. Yeah. Either one of us can play anything, so he has to retreat, or he's just gonna lose 4 cubes for nothing. So yeah, then you had Tortos, which, being a giant turtle, you would think I would fucking love him. No, Tortos was a horrible boss, one of the worst designed bosses in WoW history, because random sucks. The fact that the bats came down pretty much random, like they came down randomly, but then they would target the healers. So you had to guess where they were going to be. Then the shells came down randomly and moved about randomly until once you found the trajectory, then it was okay. But it was horrible. That fight was horrible. Then it was followed up by the Hydra fight, which was just boring. It was the Deathwing final fight all over again, where you just kept on redoing the same thing over and 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 fucking over and over and fucking over and over. God, it was so fucking bad. I hate that fight. And you had some pretty good fights after that. You had the Watcher fight. It was pretty cool. You had the you had all sorts of cool crap to play with. And then you had the you had the Anima boss fight, which was a lot of fun figuring out the math in that one. I thought that fight was a blast. You had Ironco, who was just, again, an amazing fight. I freaking love that fight so much. And yeah, you just had some really cool fights. However, it had a really bad start to the raid. If the raid was the final wing, then the whole raid would have been great. I mean, if it would have been 4 bosses and it just been the final 4 bosses, that'd have been fucking fantastic. However, it wasn't just that. It was everything else. Actually, we can Scorpion instead. So we both played Daredevil. I don't even know how this works. I've never actually played Daredevil before. But yeah, the Twin Consorts is a great fight. The Lei Shin, I could go on for literal hours on how fantastic of a fight he is, because again, he's one of those fights that you got to choose your difficulty, you got to choose how your raid progressed on him. It wasn't just a watch the video and this is how you do this fight. It was a very different fight. It was an amazing fight. Okay, I get to reveal first. You have a lot of ground to make up there. But yeah, you got to choose how you did the fight. You got to choose how you progressed through the fight. It was just really well done. It was not just a one-size-fits-all fight. Ooh, that's a lot closer than I thought it'd be. Still won. Anyway. Then after Lation, we had the final raid tier of Siege of Orgrimmar. Siege of Orgrimmar was fine. It was a good raid. I have no real complaint. I mean, the only complaint I have about it is the same complaint that everybody else is going to have about it. It was out for too damn long. But the fights in it were really fun. Thinking back on it, the only fight that I thought probably wasn't good. No, they're pretty much all good. Like they were all pretty fun fights. Maybe no, Malkarak was fun. No, they were all fun fights. No, okay. The one fight where you have to do the crates. That fight was boring as shit. I mean, I can't fault them too much for that one because you can't hit it. Like, even for an ad fight, it was okay. It wasn't horrible. But it was just a weak point of the raid. It was a fantastic raid. So, yeah, there's not much more I can say about that. Garrosh was a super fun fight. The heroic versions of all the fights were really well done. I even enjoyed the tower fight where you fight the dragon and whatnot. I'm trying to think of a low point in Siege of Orgrimmar other than the fact that it was out just for too damn long. Siege of Orgrimmar was out for so long that I decided that I'm just not gonna raid anymore because I'm gonna go try something else. I'm gonna go see what else the world has to offer.
All systems go.
So he can't possibly win now, so we'll go ahead and snap. I'm just gonna Galactus, and because he can't play anything here, he can't stop me from Galactusing. My area is gonna have 8 because it's gonna have Galactus and Wolverine. He's gonna have -2. He's probably gonna retreat. He didn't retreat. He was that confident in his double dinosaur. Sorry, buddy. That's a pull 1 deck. You're in pull 3 and 4 and 5 now. Ah. Took a sip of my cherry coke during that win. So we got one more snap victory, and then we get to complete one of our big season pass quests. Yeah, you grabbed that dick there, Kill Jaden. Not Kill Jaden. Here's the other one, Archimon. He grabbed that dick so hard that tower fell. Oh. He became unerect. That was a fun time to look over that video. Again, like these stories were so good back then. They were just the sheer power of Archimon and Kill Jaden. At that time, unfathomable to deal with, but sadly we were mistaken. No, I don't want to play that one. I want to play that one. So, if we move on to what's after Pandaria? Some Legion, was it? Why am I getting my expansions mixed up? Oh, yeah, my turn. My bad. Yeah, I said My memory on WoW is just... Oh wait, I'm a fucking idiot, yeah. Because my whole brain blocked out Warlords of Draenor. Was Warlords of Draenor that bad? No. I didn't think it was as bad as people make it out to be. I thought it was a fine expansion at most. It definitely had its issues. Oh, I realized I just gave him... See, I'm paying so little attention that I forgot that the goblin got his power switched. And so... yeah. Whoops. Anyway, Warlords of Draenor. By then I was in full swing of RP. I was with the Argent Onslaught. We started off as Argent Bulwark, moved to Argent Onslaught. Story for that for another time later. We tried to make the story work as much as possible as we could. We did travel to Draenor. We did do stuff on there. It was pretty good storylines in my opinion, and we had a lot of fun with it. We are going to Gamora there and hope for the best. No, we're gonna Gamora here. No, because if we Gamora, because the only thing he can play right here is Onslaught, and even if he plays Onslaught, we still lose. So we only win if he plays something here. Because yeah, we still would have lost this lane. And therefore we would have lost two. But yeah, we had a lot of fun. I didn't really do any raiding at the start of it. When I did keep on raiding. I take that back. I kept on raiding. It was just at a much why are you snapping at the beginning, you fucking asshole. I hate people who do that. Ugh. Like, unless there's ego, you don't snap at the start. Oh, did I just destroy his apocalypse? Yeah. So yeah, the raiding was pretty fun because God had gifted us the greatest thing to ever be made, and that was a gladiator stance warrior. I'm not going to get too much more into Warlords of Draenor because the storyline was stupid, but it wasn't detrimental to the game. It was like its own little retarded baby. It didn't really harm anybody. It was kind of there, and that's okay. I'm okay with things being kind of there as long as it doesn't harm anything. It's whenever we got into Legion that it became an issue. Because first off, the first thing Legion did was it took gladiator stance from me. That's how it opened. That's how it introduced itself. It took away my favorite thing in the world and was like, hey, fuck you. That was its introduction into my life. So that's why I'm not the hugest fan of Legion. Never before seen the Helicarrier. Whenever you discard this card from your hand, add 3 random cards to your hand. That card is blocker, like stupid. Like, why would you want that? Okay, so he definitely has a Hell in here. That's probably why he snapped. We're gonna see how low my death is gonna be at a 0, and then I also have Gamora, so we 100% win. We'll go ahead and snap. Okay, we're gonna bop and we're gonna bop, and if he plays anything, he loses. Unless he has Shang-Chi. If he has Shang-Chi, then he can win. Well, no, he reveals first, so never mind. He cannot possibly win. Good try. He had a death also, but my Gamora will overtake it. Alright, so before I open this up, I'm going to go ahead and get back to what I was saying. Yeah, Legion introduced itself by taking what I love. And, like, what a horrible way to introduce your expansion. So you took away Gladiator Stance from Warriors, you took away Metamorphosis from Warlocks, you brought in Demon Hunters, you couldn't even give them a third spec, but you did give them Warlock's Metamorphosis, which was the fucking asshole thing to do. You gave them double jumping, you made them a broken tank, you made them a broken DPS. Yeah, you did all this. And then, as I went into before in my other videos, Legion is whenever they decided to go ahead and truly start their mass amount of retcons. They had decided that it was just okay at any point. They could just change the story when they want, which, I mean, hey, it's their game. They are allowed to do that. Now that we're done with that mission, what else do we have to do? We have to play 1,000 with location of 4 cards. We're going to go ahead and play... Play a bit of the Onslaught deck. It's not that good of a deck, but it does fill up the board a lot, so I could probably win with 4 cards a lot. So that's why we're going to play that one. I'm probably going to lose a lot of ranking here, though, because it's not the best. Usually if I want to go for ranking, I kind of stick to my Galactus because it allows me to know when to snap and when not to snap. And so I can generally just, yeah. It's fucking already starting out bad with that location. But, oh, that's actually really good. Sorry, I had to take a sip of my cherry Coke. Agent 13 gave me Agatha Harkness, which means I no longer get to play. She takes control of my deck and does everything for me. I just get to click in turn. How fucking fun. Alright, so I'm going to continue on. It'll be a lot easier to talk now because I no longer have to pay attention to the game. So... yeah, it's their story. They get to do what they want with it. And I understand I can only get so mad about all of this because of that. But I'm still going to get upset about it because it is their story, but it's also our story. It's something that I've been experiencing since I was in middle school. As I said, I started playing Warcraft 1 and 2 with my friend Matthew in middle school. And the fact that they took this storyline that I love so much and started bastardizing it. Oh, thank God he didn't play the Rock. I thought for certain he would play the Rock. They usually do. They just started bastardizing it. All that they wanted. So that it always plays Agatha whenever it can. So now we're at 6 mana, so it's going to play Agatha. Which is great because it lets me play the final turn. And Agatha is 14 power. So I'm probably going to play Ultron here because that'll bring that up to 22 power. And it's going to fill up the rest of the board. So we actually get a lot of that 4 location win after all. But yeah, let me continue on. I'm sorry. I keep on getting distracted by the game. And I know that's not what you're here for, Sarah. You're here to listen to me rant about Warcraft and alike. God, look at those furbolgs. Look how cool they used to look. Yeah, I like the way they look. I'm actually going to get into graphics here in a bit because I don't want to just talk about storyline and all that because I've ranted about the storyline a great bit before in the other video. So yeah, we're going to play Ultron here and... Yeah, I'll snap because I don't think you can win. Sure. Because the most you can do is Killmonger. I was wrong. I have not fought many Silver Surfer decks. He trounced me. See, look at all those. Look at all those that I just lost. I know when I'm going to win as Galactus. I never know when I'm going to win as everything else. It sucks not knowing the future. But yeah, just they meddled with the story too much. They retconned a lot of the old god stuff. They retconned a lot of the Broken Isle stuff, and yada yada. We're gonna push past Allegiance stuff because I said you've already heard me complain about this in my other video. Really, you're gonna snap at the beginning? I don't want to snap at the beginning because all my shit sucks. I mean, I got like a game-winning hand right there. Here, have the rock that I instantly fucking drew. Jesus Christ. Okay, what I want to get into next, instead of the storyline, we'll finish off with talking about the Dragonflight storyline at the end. We're going to skip talking about storyline for right now. We're going to talk about graphics because the Furball made me think about that. And how great this game still looks. Really? You're gonna get rid of my fucking Onslaught? Oh my god, this fucking game. Oh, I swear to god. He gets rid of my Onslaught and gets rid of his rock. Sorry, I had to take a sip of my cherry coke there. I had to take a moment to calm down from the beating that I'm experiencing due to sheer fucking luck. Ugh. Back to what I was saying. We're going to talk about graphics. One thing about Warcraft 3 is that I wholeheartedly believe that the graphics hold up. Yes, some of it looks goofy as shit. Especially whenever you see, like, the human kids. They look ridiculous. However, it's a style that doesn't get dated. Like, look at the screen. Well, let's get past some fucking trees growing right now. That's where I picked the absolute worst time to say look at the screen. You go Blue Marble. It's the only way I remotely stand a chance, but I'm pretty sure I still lose right here. He already snapped. I'm not going to snap back because I'm pretty sure I lose, and I'm just going to lose all my cubes that I got while playing Galactus deck because I want to complete this stupid fucking quest. I hate the quest sometimes.
Wind, pay my hand.
Alright, now that we got past the trees, okay, let's look at like what we got in here. These guys, graphically speaking, like if we're comparing them to like a PS5 or something like that, yeah, they don't look that good. But they look more like miniatures that you would find on your table while you're playing a game. Like, they look 3D printed. They look like something that you could go out and you could buy at a store and be perfectly okay with. Another thing is that whenever you play this game 20 years down the line, it's still going to look like this. This game looks the same to me as I did whenever I played it when it first came out. You can't say that about a lot of games these days. Say on average, you can't say that about almost any game these days. Because games instantly become dated. And if you want more proof than that, Warcraft 3 Reforged came out of the gate looking dated. Alright, so I got my game winning stuff right here again. Let's see if we can not discard our onslaught. Ah! So, back to what I was saying. So, like, yeah, you compare it to Warcraft 3 Reforged. People were excited for Warcraft 3 Reforged, and then whenever I saw the actual models, I was like, yeah, this shit looks stupid. This looks horrible. I'm not excited to play this at all. And they kept on releasing more models and more models, especially when they started showing the different demon leaders, the different dreadlords and whatnot. Like, why was there a fat dreadlord? Why did they all look so different? Okay, I forgot they didn't turn. My bad. It was all really stupid looking, and the game already looks dated because the stupid things look like claymation little monstrosities instead of actual like something that you would want to see being played. It looks horrible. Horrible. And I reiterate, horrible. Sorry, I'm doing some mental math here real quick. I'm thinking maybe we don't play Onslaught. Maybe we play Blue Marvel and Ultron. There. We counteract that one. Okay, so continue on. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, if you look at this game, it's going to look the same in 20 years, as opposed to things that came out in the past few years that already look dated and bad, and like the fact they have to remaster The Last of Us already again because, oh, well, we can make it look better. We can continue making it look more realistic. Yada, yada. Like, who cares? Why not just make it look timeless to begin with instead of always making things look? I don't understand the obsession with realism. If I want to look at something realistic, I'll go look at a goddamn mirror. I can see myself. I can see my child. I can see my wife. I can see my own hands. I can see my computer in front of me. I don't need crap looking realistic all the time. Why do people have this obsession with realism? Like, it's, why don't you want something to look like something else? Like, why would you want to play something that looks like something you could just go view? Like, yeah, I understand whenever it comes to like landscapes and whatnot, seeing something so hyper realistic and beautiful can be awe-inspiring and all that. Whenever it comes to games, like, sorry, but it looks like trash, and in 3 years, and whenever you're comparing it to all the other stuff, it's going to look like trash. That's why, like, the PS1 Spider-Man looks better than any of the, like, PS3 Spider-Man games. Because the PS1 Spider-Man game is cartoony. It has its own style. Versus this trash, like, well, I'm not going to say this trash is coming out, but these games that are coming out have this hyper-realism focus. They're just going to look bad in the future. Okay, I need to stop drawing Onslaught Blue Marvel Kazar, because that means I'm not drawing enough 1-drops to play. That's bad. Because, yeah, like, turn 2, I can't even play anything. And my deck is like 90% 1-drops. What the fuck? This one, wait, I'm doing shit on her end. I get a free Angela. So yeah, back to what I was saying. I'm sorry. Yeah, all of this still looks good to me. All of this Warcraft 3, like Warcraft 2, yeah, definitely is much more pixelated. However, it still has a timeless look to it. And it's the same for a lot of this. It's just like, why would I want to go back and play? Let's compare Final Fantasy VII to Final Fantasy VIII. Final Fantasy VII started to push the realism, where it has like these like realistic painted backgrounds, and then it has the more realistic cutscenes. The cutscenes definitely did not age well. However, what did age well is the rest of the game. The pixelated giant blocky characters actually work in favor of the game because it takes you so far away from the aspect of it trying to be real, and instead of trying to be its own thing, that the game looks okay in its own right. Versus Final Fantasy VIII, you go look up screenshots from that game and it looks absolutely horrible, and it's never gonna like it. Even like the remaster did some work for it, but it's never gonna look how it looked whenever you first played it. And that's always gonna be a downside to games that try to be too realistic in my head. Is that like this Warcraft 3 is always gonna look this way to me. That's how it looked when that Infernal, when I first saw that fucking Infernal, it was badass. Like, look at that thing trouncing around, how the screen shakes whenever it moves, how everything just, it's so cool looking. However, so much more is lost over time whenever you try to make it look realistic. Final Fantasy VIII, go look at pictures of Squall's face, not the Tessio or whatever his name, and not his drawing. I'm talking about the actual in-game of his face looks ridiculous. It looks absurd. It's like like part of his eye looks like it's hanging down by his nose. It looks stupid as shit. Oh boy. I was not expecting that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna Squirrel Girl, and she's gonna flood our board. I don't know how I'm gonna win this one. I don't think I'm gonna win this one. Let's see. Captain Werewolf. It has to land here. Granted, if I. Yeah, no, there's no winning. No chance I won that one. So yeah, cutscenes are definitely dated. Like if we look here, this cutscene. Well, again, it's its own style, so I think it works. Like honestly, like yeah, the orcs look a little clayish, but that's perfectly fine in my opinion. It's its own style, and like it still works to this day. It's the realism that doesn't work, and until we can perfectly match what a human looks like, it's probably not gonna work. We can set up what we gotta do. Yeah, so that's my issue with graphics, and you see it, like they ruined Warcraft 3 by trying to reforge it, and everybody's so excited whenever Warcraft 3 Reforged was announced, and I was amongst them. I mean, I can't say too much. I was definitely hyped about it whenever it was announced because, oh my god, they're doing something with one of my favorite games of all time. I was the same way about Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, the big difference is that Final Fantasy VII Remake was actually well done. It's a good game on top of all of that. So I'll play a bunch of one-drops there, Daredevil. What are you going to do about it? So we just got to make sure that we win this lane, and Onslaught is a good pickup because he is a high power. Oh. Yeah, he just wasn't even going to contest. I guess he was trying to complete a quest of some sort. But yeah, so we got about 20 minutes left. of this video that I promised Sarah 2 hours. I didn't promise Sarah. Sarah just said that they would like a 2 hour video. I know a lot of it is me just going and uhs and getting distracted by my game, but I don't know if Sarah actually would expect me to talk nonstop for 2 hours, keeping my focus, because that's quite impossible. Let's move back to the storyline of Warcraft to close off on, and things that, you know, I'm disappointed in. Holy crap. Because it's easy to be sad about certain states of the game. But I don't play the game anymore. I don't know the state of the game. I don't know how good Paladin is. I don't know how good Warrior is. I don't know if Death Knight's fun or not. I don't know all of this, and I also don't care to know about the different states of the game in that respect. I don't care about that game anymore. But let me just be clear. I don't care about the game. I care about the story. I'll always care about the story. I'm always going to care about the story, because this story and Blizzard in itself has a huge impact on my life. I met my wife playing World Order. We met during ICC. Our child's name is Tychus, so you know that's inspiration from StarCraft. There's a lot of my life that is actually like part of, because of WoW. Well, not because of WoW, but because of just you know, Blizzard in general. And so people will always say like, oh, why do you get so mad because of blah blah blah? Well, because I still do deeply care about the game, and that's never going to change. Well, not the game again. Let me reiterate, not the game, the storyline. I will always deeply care about the storyline, because it just means that much to me. That sucks. Yeah, he just has to play one power over there. I can't possibly win. I'm not going to lose my points. So, yeah, people like, you know, like they'll say like, oh, why do you care so much? Oh, you don't play, but you're not. I still pay attention to the storyline. That's one of the reasons why I follow people on Twitter. People, well, I'm not going to name names, but I do follow certain people just so I can keep up with the storyline and understand what's happening, because it's important to see where all of this is going. And, you know, seeing things like Metzen being back is actually kind of exciting, because who knows what style influence he's going to have. Did they just bring him back just to say, oh, look, we got Metzen back and he's actually not going to do anything? That's quite a possibility. Maybe he'll actually have more input in on the story. And maybe he'll try to keep it in line with what his original vision was whenever he was doing cocaine with his friends back in the day and all that crap. Who knows? But I'm excited to see what he does with it. I'm excited to see everything that he does, because I want to know where it's all going to end up. And with that being said, there are disappointments in the story that I'm still going to have. notably with Dragonflight and some of the stuff that they're doing. Like, case in point, one of the things I've jokingly complained about before, but I'm going to just go ahead and actually complain about, was how dragons never want to meddle in mortal affairs. That was like the big thing. Oh, we can't meddle in mortal affairs. We can't help you with this. We can't help you with that. But every time there's an issue, the dragons have to come to us. And that's stupid. That's bad writing. Like, why can't they handle their issues themselves? Or why don't you just have them meddling in our affairs? Other than the fact, they meddle in our affairs all the time because they fuck with us. They do their own thing, but it's just shitty writing. He's playing a destroyer deck. So we're gonna drop you over here. No, I'm not used to Destroyer having Hobgoblins, so maybe he's not playing Destroyer. Well, he's definitely playing a Destroyer deck. Yeah, so we'll get into things, and again, my perception on... I'm not going to snap back. But I also don't think it's 100% loss either. I think I have a chance because, my Ultron's pretty strong. Yeah, see, I won. I was correct. He's playing Destroyer deck. But again, there's still certain aspects of the storyline that I pay attention to, and the ones I'm going to gripe about are the big ones. So yeah, the dragon's not ever helping, but then they always need our help. Then my big gripe is, of course, messing with the Deathwing storyline. I'm not a huge fan of, whenever I say I'm not a fan of that in the least. The fact that they would take something that I love and mess with the actual base storyline, and people are like, oh, well, it's the way you perceive it. I'm like, no, it's not the way that I perceive it. It's actually like how the story is being told to us. It's how it's shown, and the way it was shown in the video was that it leave your Ironheart, bitch. So, in the storyline, in the video, it's shown that Deathwing had an army that he was controlling with a Titan artifact, and the like, and then he suddenly loses to Razorgath, and he has to turn to the old gods for power. And that's whenever Darth Darman was like, oh, so this is when it happened. This is whenever our brother turned on us. Blah, 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 blah. If only we knew. Yeah, if only you ever paid attention to the rest of the fucking world like you never do, then, yeah, maybe we wouldn't have lost the fucking world. But the dragons being shitty dragons, literally the worst dragons in all of fucking, like, I can't think of worse dragons. Like, My Little Pony has more devastating dragons than fucking World of Warcraft. These dragons are so useless. You have one that can peer through the passageways of time at a will, and to the point where he started changing it and became corrupt and blah blah blah. And yet he couldn't fucking see this happening. He couldn't fucking perceive anything. He couldn't, and because you can't be like, well, maybe he did know. No, he didn't know because they literally show him learning right there. Why couldn't he know? Oh, because reasons. Literally, there's no reason onto why he couldn't know either. It was just he couldn't fucking know. He couldn't see it. He couldn't do anything. The reasoning behind it is that the reasoning is there. And that's it. That is the reason behind it all. It's because they said so. And so many people are okay with this fucking storytelling of, well, they said so. It's their story. No, fuck you. It's not just their story. And then we go into the whole Razorgath thing, and I think that's his name. I can't remember if that's his actual name, but let's just go ahead and pretend his name is fucking Razorgath before I, blow a gasket. So we go with the whole Razorgath storyline, and like, it's so fucking just stupid. Because it's just like the Jailer, where it's not an actual story being told. It's I think actually, because if I lose one of these, that's okay. I want to lose Khazar the most, but either one works. Okay, so yeah, you have Razorgath, you have the Jailer, you have this whole Sylvanas storyline, and blah blah blah. I'm going to get into this. It's the Shoulders of Giants thing that I complained about before, where it's no longer, they're no longer creating. Of course, I hit the rock.
All systems go. All systems go.
I can still win with Onslaught. We're gonna find out. I don't know if I like doing the math while I'm trying to talk. Normally I would try to sit here and do the math of him playing, because he's gonna play Odin. I just don't know if it's gonna be enough, but I'm not even gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna let the timer run out. Yeah, it's the Shoulders of Giants storyline telling. Yeah. Basically, what's happening is they can no longer write villains that are compelling. Their villains are no longer able to stand up on their own merit remotely. And so, instead, they're forced to make you believe that these villains are better than their older villains. This is seen with the Jailer originally because, oh, well, the Jailer's like Arthas Plus. He controlled Arthas. He controlled the Dreadlords. In fact, he controlled the entire Legion. In fact, he also controlled Sylvanas from the start. In fact, Kel'Thuzad's actually been serving him the entire time. So that's how great he was at his job. He was just better than Arthas in every conceivable way. Yeah. That's the storyline we're going with. And that's just something you had to accept, that he was better than Arthas. Now we have these new guys coming out. You have Razorgath. You have the I don't know the Earth one. It starts with an I believe. I'm not gonna take the time to look it up because I don't even know how to look up all that crap at the moment. As I said, I don't care enough anymore about it. But yeah, they're just they're trying to tell you that they're better than the other villains because Razorgath was able to. He's treated already. I wonder what the hell happened to his hand. They're just trying to tell you that Razorgath was able to, and his elemental dragons were able to take on not only Deathwing, but Deathwing with a Titan artifact and his entire army. They were what drove Deathwing to corruption. It wasn't Deathwing slowly listening to the whispers of the old gods. It wasn't all that. No, it was simply just... No, Iceman. It was simply just that. That's it. It was just... Yeah, it was simply just that. He's just better. And then these dragons that were locked away. Well, one of them's the Great Devourer and all that. And, well, he's probably more dangerous than Galakron. So you better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. And you know what I'm telling you why? Those fuckers, whoever they are coming to town. And yeah, they're gonna fucking get you. I don't even want to play that. Can I play another fucking long deck? Really? Yeah, you don't get to play. You don't get to play with your Wong anymore. Yeah, I should have long down. Yeah, they're just better. They're more threatening. They're better at being villains than the villains you grew up with. So why are you so fucking stupid and enjoying Arthas and Deathwing? Whenever these cooler people are out there, like, look at that nerd on a fucking horse. You think the jailer needs a horse? No, the jailer walks around and claims that he has ultimate power. You fucking better believe him. He has been at work for so long. He's been doing this for so long. And yeah, like I don't even know how to say anymore about it. It's just it's horrible storytelling. And like I thought it was bad whenever they would just like retcon things like, oh, you know, a piece of Uldor was actually always missing. I thought that was stupid. I thought that was bad writing. Then we got shit like, at least like whenever Kill Jaden showed up, it wasn't like, oh yeah, but there's better Kill Jaden right behind the corner. No, it was just there. It was just, oh, Kill Jaden's there. We finally get the fight up. Yeah, the fight sucked because it was nothing but soak everything in the fucking planet. But Kill Jaden was not lessened in power, and the idea of what to come wasn't like made to be better. The idea of Argus actually being like a dark-hearted like actual like Titan that the Legion has been feasting off of, and now they're finally forcing it awake and all that crap. And like, as much as I hate Legion, that was actually decent storytelling. Like, it's all believable stuff. Oh my god, another fucking Wong deck? Really? Wait, no, it's not a Wong. You can't have a Wong deck because we got District X. And like the Shoulders of Giant storytelling didn't really start until Shadowlands. I mean, yeah, they ruined a lot of storylines and say like BFA with like, you know, the whole we can kill old gods. By the way, we had the old god killing device on the planet the entire. I pulled a Nightcrawler out of my ass. I don't know, maybe Ultron will win this for me. But yeah, it had some. Oh, yeah, okay. Sure, I won that game that I wasn't even paying attention to. I'm gonna keep going for a little bit longer. But yeah, as I was saying, like, just at least BFA didn't have that Shoulders of Giant storytelling. We knew N'Zoth was there. We've been knowing about N'Zoth forever, and his power skill seemed to be on par with what we were expecting. Ashara was perhaps a little bit weaker than what we were expecting, but you know what? Ashara should have had her own expansion, not a mid-tier of another expansion, but BFA wasted a lot of potential, and we're all aware of that. None of us are happy about it, but you know, I thought that was going to be the worst of it, was that, well, damn, we're just wasting storyline now. And again, I'm just, I don't want to go infinitely into the whole... Sorry, Ant-Man and Demon are just too good to copy. Too good not to copy. Yeah, so it's sad to see that they've run out of ideas. And that's literally the only way that I can phrase it, is that, because I don't know how else to say it other than that they've run out of ideas. Because it's obvious that they have, if their only ideas are just to go off and rehash the villains in just different aspects, and the storylines in different aspects. Because like the end of the end of Cataclysm was the Age of Dragons is over, but now the Age of Mortals is nigh. However, Mortals never got a chance to shine. We only had, what, 5, however, fuck the time skip. Like, not the time skip is actually something cool. I'm so glad they did. That would actually have been interesting to RP. A little part of me is sad that I'm not part of that community anymore to actually RP that, because that would have been something interesting to forward my character 2 to 3 years, whatever it was. And the different aspects of their life and crap like that. That definitely would have been interesting. And I'm actually wondering how the rest of the community is doing it, or if a lot of them just ignored it and continued on with daily life. Because there's a lot of stuff we could have done with the monastery, a lot of stuff we could have done with like different outposts and all that shit. That's actually something cool that I think that they did well for Dragonflight. But yeah, the Age of Mortals only lasted about 6 years before the dragons were like, hey, we're taking over again. By the way, sorry. I guess they didn't believe in the humans. Alright, so Onslaught, you're gonna go there. I don't know what he can play to make him win. Oh, that's pretty good. I was expecting Enchantress. That definitely came out of nowhere. I thought I for 100% had this. Ah, but oh well. That happens sometimes. Anyway. How much do I have left before I complete this quest? 150. I'm not going to do that tonight. I'm going to play one more. I'll probably play like one or two more before I'll play my butt deck. I just name it Butthead instead of Butt. That's what Ben Brode calls. He calls it the Butthead deck, and me just calling it Butt. Look how cool that Archimon looks. He actually looks better in this game than he did in World of Warcraft. Let's see if we want to place that there. We're going to place debris somewhere else. But yeah, it's just I'm gonna go back to, because I'm trying to get out some closing thoughts here, because I've gone on long enough. But yeah, it's depressing to see that they can no longer come up with new ideas, or ones that they think are going to engage the player, something that'll keep you interested. Because I guess they can no longer keep you interested, and that's a sad thought. And yeah, that's kind of my big takeaway on that, is that hopefully Metzen comes in and offers them new ideas to work with. That's my hope. It's a very small hope. I don't think there could be much to be saved on it, but I'm still gonna hope. I really, it's like people think that I hate Warcraft and like I hate it. I want it to be damned forever, and like, no, I want it to be good again. I want it to actually. I want it to be like fun, like it was back in the day. I want people, because though it's no longer the game for me, I want others to be able to enjoy it. Let's see. Can I win this? Reduce it by 8 to 9. That brings it up to 9. Sorry, I'm doing math now. Let's see, that brings it up to 14. That brings it down to 12. Okay. So. I believe that's right. I should be correct. I might be wrong. Yeah, I was right. I can math. All right. So, no, I'm not going to start another game. This guy is very upset. I'm not going to start another game. Instead, I'm going to leave off with some closing thoughts on all of it all. Again, happy birthday, Sarah. I know it's not exactly what you wanted, but hopefully it was entertaining enough for you. What I would like to see in the future for World of Warcraft is I would like to see the writing quality go up. I don't care about the gameplay anymore. And So the only investment that I have in is the story. And I'll always have that investment, no matter what. I'm always going to go back and read the story. I'm always going to go back, no matter how much I hate it, no matter how much I bitch, no matter how much I complain. I'm always going to go back and pay attention to the story, because that story was a huge portion of my life. And it's also something I don't want to lose, because, yeah, it is a little depressing just realizing how much I've already forgotten. I can't remember the Proto-Drake's name from Alduar. There's certain like areas and zones I probably don't remember. Whenever I used to know all this like the back of my hand. And yeah, I'm very happy with Final Fantasy, the storyline that it provides. And I get genuinely excited every time that more story comes. And that's the big difference between Final Fantasy and WoW for me, is that for WoW, I'm hoping that it gets better one day. For Final Fantasy, I'm always enjoying it every step of the way. And yeah, that's about the best I can say. I wish Metzen the best of luck. Well, not the best of luck. I mean, he doesn't really need luck. He needs. I wish the Warcraft players the best of luck. I hope that the team gives you something to work with, something to make stories with, something to enjoy. And though I may not agree with the people that are still playing, and I may not agree with what they're doing and saying that it's enjoyable, it's enjoyable for them. I myself could not foresee myself enjoying it. The story that's being provided, the everything that's being provided, I would still be upset. But if you are enjoying it, it's good for you. I just hope that one day maybe they'll write a story that I enjoy again one day. I don't ever plan on going back, but I also never planned on really leaving either, so who knows what the future holds. Either way, that's going to be it for now. Have a good night.